and welcome to the Maverick Factor podcast. I'm your host, Shaunda Musick, and I can't wait to take you on today's journey. I have a few special guests with me, so we're going to start off with introductions. First, I have Sebastian Molina, and he is a student seeking social work. You're getting your degree and upcoming graduation in December, which is so exciting. We also have James Kumm over here. He is the Executive Director for Military and Veteran Services. So welcome to you both.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Dive in a little bit, each of you please, to your military background.
All right. Well, I enlisted straight after high school, and after high school, I shipped off like everybody does, right? And I served my time in El Paso a little bit and just a couple of domestic places here in the motherland. And then after my 4 years were over, I decided I wanted to seek out a different career for myself. And that's when I pursued an education degree. Well, I pursued an education in a college university, and that's when I stumbled upon UTA.
Wonderful. James, how about you?
Yeah, so similar to Sebastian, I joined the U.S. Army right out of high school. Spent 14 years in the U.S. Army and the Colorado Army National Guard with a deployment to Iraq in 2005. Got back in 2007 and really started trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And so started pursuing my degrees, graduated in 2008 of all places with a liberal arts degree, which was great time to graduate with a degree in sociology, but I was really fortunate that I was engaged on my campus. And our vice president of enrollment management asked me what I was going to do. I thought I was going to go back active duty, and he said, well, why don't you come work for me as an admissions counselor? And I said, okay, I can do that. That sounds great.
I'll do that.
And that's how I got started in higher education. And from there, it was really just kind of developing my career to work with individuals that were looking to better themselves through education, and found a lot of individuals like myself that didn't know what was out there and helped them get involved, and ended up at UTA because, well, I found the veteran community and said, I'm going to help with this.
I love that you're servicing an area that you saw the need for also, because it sounds like you landed in a similar situation. So from there you thought, let me make this better for everybody around me and see how I can contribute to the same thing that I was seeking. I absolutely love that. Yeah, this is a question for both of you. Oh, you guys also share Army veteran status. Is that correct?
No, that's correct. Yeah.
Yes, and Army National Guard as well for you, James?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Why UTA? Why did you come here? Why did you pick it?
The culture. I grew up in Grand Prairie, and I would always hear about UTA, see how great it is, the great things that it does. And naturally, I got influenced by it, made me want to look into it. And they have amazing military rankings among its veterans and families. So I wanted to check it out, checked it out. I got hooked on it, and from there on forward, here I am. I was very hooked on it and haven't looked back ever since.
Oh, wonderful. Did you do a campus tour when you came?
I did not actually. I did mine online.
Oh,
unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah. I wish I would have gone the in-person experience, but that was not in the cards for me.
Okay, I see. How about you?
Yeah, so I was the director of admissions at a small school in Kansas. And just kind of looking to expand and to grow.
Atmosphere.
It was. I had come from Colorado at larger schools, and it was definitely a different environment. But had heard that UTA was looking to expand their veteran programs and their services for veterans and their families. So as I started kind of exploring and looking, I came out and interviewed for the position, fell in love with the campus immediately. And when it was kind of presented to me that we were going to get to build a program literally from the ground up, I said, yes, this is the challenge I'm looking for, and it's with a population that I identified with and was really near and dear to me. So I chose UTA for that reason and haven't looked back.
I love. So we have local perspective, we have a transplant perspective, right? What was that like for you, just it being in your backyard? Were you still connected with family that was close by? Did you have friends in the area?
Yeah, so my family lives here locally as well, and I wanted to stick kind of close to them, but not too close, so I decided that, hey, let me check it out. Let me see what UTA offers. And they offered a degree that I was interested in, which at the time was mechanical engineering. And then later on, I came to obviously have the first semester here, trial era right there, see how I felt, and had some success. I got involved with the community a little bit. Yeah. They introduced me, took me in, showed me around some, and I liked it. So there I was, moving on with it.
I'm a local kid too, so I have a very similar perspective as you. Grew up in Arlington and came here, and I loved it as well. But James, for you, that was a big move. You uprooted, you left everything you knew, and you headed to Texas.
Absolutely. So it was just my wife and I. I was from Colorado. That's where my family's at. Her family's in Illinois. We had our 9-month-old daughter at the time, which was 7 years ago. Hard to believe she's 8 now.
Oh my goodness.
But with that, it was we just took a chance, and the community at UTA was so amazing that we've never regretted it since, and it's been that family and that community, and they've really embraced us as we've worked with the growth throughout the campus and made UTA great.
I love it. I love the common theme of, okay, never looked back. Either one of you, we got here, we loved it, and we just continued on. James, this is going to be a question for you. We have the designation here of #1 best for vets. Please indulge me and walk us through that. How did we get it? What does it mean? And I know it's a huge point of pride, but please share with the audience.
Absolutely. So for people that aren't familiar with the Best for Vets designation, the U.S. military, the government, they put out a publication that's a newspaper called the Military Times. And every member of the U.S. military knows what the Military Times is in some shape or form. It's really online a lot these days, but you still don't go into a military installation without seeing the paper copies on the racks. But every year they put out designations for what is the best city for veterans, what is the list of best cities for veterans, best jobs for veterans, best colleges and universities for veterans. And it made sense with UTA's commitment to our military-connected students that we would fill out the survey for this and really go for the designation. Well, when I arrived, UTA had an amazing foundation for our veterans on campus. We had a lot of different programs and services and a lot of really great dedicated faculty and staff. So with that, it was really just getting involved on the campus and finding out what was important. And I was able to put that into the first survey that I completed. And at the time when I got here, we had been completing the survey for a few years, and we were number 20 in the nation.
Yeah.
And which was fantastic. Out of 500 schools that are ranked and even more, over 1,000 that apply, being number 20 was really fantastic.
Yes.
Well, over time, we started kind of dialing in on that, and we were using that survey as our guide for what we were going to offer at UTA and start setting best practices. And over the years, it started building up, and then the next year, we were number 17, and then we jumped to number 7, and then within 5 years, we were number 1, and then we hit number 1 again.
Oh my gosh.
And then we dropped to number 4, which is a great year, but that's okay. Other schools were following along. And then this year, we're number 2 overall, but we're the number 1 Best for Vets Public. And then for 2024, we'll find out here in about, anytime now.
Anytime now.
What the 2024 ranking is, and
Hot
really
off the
helpful.
press.
But what it really means for us is that it shows that the work we're doing is being noticed, not just at the local community level, but it's being noticed nationwide. And it's showing that it's really inspired a lot of other programs across the nation to take a look at what's going on at UTA and helped us to guide them and best practices. So our reach goes a lot further than just our students here. It's a nationwide trend that's going on, which is amazing.
Really great efforts to continue to put UTA on the map, especially in this area. Was there anything in particular when you're looking at number 20, you're slowly making the climb, was there something that clicked and you said, this made a huge impact to get us from 20 to 1?
Right. It was really refocusing, because just like any programs out there, you can really get into the weeds on we're going to be everything to everybody. Yeah. And a lot of people would hope that would be the case. But what we focused really on was 5 core pillars. We want to help our veterans transition. We want to help them with their health and well-being. We want to help them make sure that they get their earned education benefits. We want to help them get engaged and involved on campus, like our student Sebastian here. And then we want to help with career readiness. And really streamlining and making sure that if it doesn't fall into those 4 areas, we find great community partners that we're referring out to, and we're focused on those 5 areas. And that's what's really elevated us, because we've been able to get really good at helping our student veterans be successful.
I love that. I love it so much. What great pillars to work from too. And I can tell that that's been refined over time, but now it is the foundation and it is the standard. Love that.
Absolutely.
Sebastian, we want to talk with you a little bit today about your initial role here, what you were focusing on, your degree, and then the transition to social work and why the change.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, right, I started off with mechanical engineering being my focus point. That's what I wanted to do. In the military, and even before the military, I had always worked on vehicles, engines, transmissions, all that good jazz that has to do with vehicles. Yeah. And I wanted to pursue it naturally further, but to a different extent. I wanted to actually design these things, and I wanted to work with, I don't know, maybe like Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Ford maybe, Volkswagen, who knows, one of those big manufacturers, and see what maybe what role I could end up taking on with them. Turned out that was not exactly for me. I saw, like James said, there was a need for students who, because I started off working as a work study at the Military and Veteran Services Office, and I saw how many students actually did not know about their benefits, about how to enroll in certain classes, about how to apply for scholarships. Some of them needed help with like VA loans and a bunch of other stuff that veteran related.
Yeah.
And they needed help of some sort. And well, that's whenever I looked into what I could do to help. And I saw that social work offers a bunch of fields in which a person can help out veterans and families. And then that's whenever I decided to go ahead and change my whole degree to social work.
Wow. Was that a nervous jump for you? Did it feel natural? And what kind of support did you get here?
It was nerve-wracking. At first, I was kind of discouraged by some of the roles and some of the bad stigma that social workers get. And that kind of made me not want to actually officially switch over. It was quite challenging, but James has been a big supporter in the office environment right here on campus. And he told me to just chase what I feel is right, what I want to actually pursue. To not just push aside what people's opinions say, but do what I want to do.
So there's some words to live by right there. I firmly believe in the same thing, and I'm glad that you're in an area of passion now where you can make a difference and you can help. So
That's the goal.
That's great. Now, we teased about it earlier, but December is approaching.
Yes.
And you'll be graduating.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, I have a question for both of you. I want to know a service that stands out to you. What has impacted you the most?
So we could say this at the same time, but at least I hope we have the same answer.
In unison.
Right. Well, you can go ahead and go first. What?
A service that has greatly impacted me, right? I would honestly say the people around me, my surrounding people and my environment, because right there is where I have made a community and I have had kind of a backbone to keep me going. Whenever I have a question, not sure what class to enroll in, or maybe I'm having a tough time, they're the ones that I go to. They're the ones who have my back, and they're the ones who keep me going sometimes even. So I greatly appreciate my community here.
Oh, I love that.
So that kind of goes in what I was hoping that you'd say. But with that, I would really say that it's our peer mentor program. That's called the Veterans Edge Peer Mentors, and it's a group of junior and senior level students. Sebastian is one of them. That help our incoming military connected students just get acclimated to campus. If they need to find out where their classes are, as Sebastian said, registering for classes, getting in contact with their advisors, financial aid, benefits, any of it, they're that go-to because they've been through a lot of that themselves. And they're able to help with those.
Honestly, just learning campus.
People don't even know about it.
Yeah, I agree.
And then it's the community with our Student Veterans Organization. So they're known as the Mav Vets. Sebastian's actually the co-president of that organization. And
Shout out Sebastian.
Right, they've built a community on our campus that really is here to help support our military connected student community and culture, as we want them to integrate into civilian life and really become a big part of the community at large. They are their own community as well. And it's peer mentors and the Mav Vets that do a great job of helping to make sure that there's mattering and belonging that goes with that.
Well, since you all have been so involved with the military and veteran services, you as a student, you as a staff member, what is something that you've gotten to be a part of that was very significant that you thought, okay, wow, this opportunity came my way because of my involvement?
For me, I would say it was a 4th of July parade that UTA hosts. That's whenever I first got in so I had walked into the office, and that's whenever I met some of the work studies there, and they invited me out to the parade and take part in it. You're a veteran? Okay, you want to participate in our veteran parade? Oh, not veteran parade, but in our veteran group that's going to be walking the parade. I said, yeah, sure, why not? And after that parade, we went out to go catch a bite after the parade. We kicked it a little bit, had a good time, and after that, we kind of became friends.
Where'd you go eat?
We went to a local spot over here called J. Gill's.
Oh, yeah.
That was a pretty good spot. I really liked them. They liked me too, to the point where they asked me if I wanted to work in the office, because we had a good vibe going on.
Yeah.
As soon as I became a student, I was able to become a student worker here on campus. And after that, that was a very big moment for me. They took me in, and I learned quite a bit. That's what led me to understand what some of the veterans are missing, some of the families are also wanting to get a hold of. And like James said, peer mentor. I came across a peer mentor who showed me a little bit, and he taught me the ways somewhat, and I learned from him.
You want to do the same for somebody else. Now, I would argue, have you even been a UTA student if you haven't had a bonding moment at J. Gills, right? I think we've all had that. It is such a beloved
You have to go there
favorite.
eventually.
So
Yeah.
love that was part of your story also. James, when it comes to this moment for you, I'm sure you've been a part of many of those throughout the years.
So many. So it really comes down to, I don't know if it's a particular moment, but my moments are when I see the students that struggled. Maybe they started with us through our Veterans Upward Bound program on the campus, and they were students that were preparing to come into college. And then they started college, and then they maybe had some stumbling blocks around the way that just made them question if they were going to be able to continue. But then we worked through it, and we encouraged, and we helped them get them resources and support. So then my moment is every year at commencement when I get to watch them walk across the stage, because I'm like, I remember you 4 years ago when you first came in and you weren't sure that this was going to happen, and now here's your moment. And those are the moments for us that really matter. But then I love the parades. I love the activities and the events that we get to do. And but I would definitely say it's commencement when we see them graduate and go on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, community is just a common theme also. I'm just hearing these wonderful things from you guys that makes me understand better what we have to offer and the type of place that you're building, because you have it inwardly within your community here, but then also, like you're saying, there's so many outward ways to be connected with the larger community that you're serving as well. So I love that. Now I've got one more question before I send you guys on your way. Sebastian, upon graduation, what does the future look like for you? What's next?
So right now I'm getting my undergrad, right, which is great, but I want to actually do more. And to do more, you have to do more, which means getting my master's degree. I want to get my master's degree and hopefully climb up that ladder and be able to make a bigger impact on the community. I want to work with veterans and their families. See, I haven't quite settled on a spot yet,
Sure.
But maybe, for example, the VA, maybe DAV, maybe higher education. I'm not entirely sure where I want to land quite yet, but that is definitely something that I am focusing on right now.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations again on that accomplishment. Hopefully we'll get to follow your story and see where you are a year, 5 years from now. Hopefully, wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, maybe in higher ed, right?
Yeah, we'll see about that one.
It's nice to be able to see those community folks around you who are taking different areas and kind of go, okay, I could explore that. I could see myself here. Maybe I'll end up there. One thing that we ask all of our guests who are attending and part of this podcast is describe the Maverick Factor in 3 words.
I would say be a leader. It's a principle that I've carried from when my time in service in the military to even when I'm out here in the quote-unquote civilian world. I think it's important to help those out who maybe need a help or a nudge in the right direction, or maybe you can just step up and lead others into whatever the situation or scenario is in the community.
Very strong. I like that. How about you?
And so I would say that mine is really, it's mattering, support, and service. And when we look at that like Sebastian comes back to the military days, but it's finding that major, that program, that career that you're going to really feel like you matter in and that you're going to be a part of, and that matters to you. And then find the support that's going to help get you there. So get involved on campus, get involved in clubs and organizations, be a part of the communities that are around the campus. And then of course so with mattering, support, and service. And then service, find that way that you're going to continue giving back. Take everything that you've learned and give back to your community. Be a part of that and be a part of something bigger.
I definitely agree with everything you guys had to say, but the getting involved, I think, is something that resonates with me as well. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming on. James, Sebastian, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you and finding out a little bit about your stories and what services that we have to offer right here at UTA for military and veteran services. This has been another wonderful episode of Discovering the Maverick Factor, and we thank you for tuning in.